Alright guys, let's talk about Metroid Prime 4. Metroid Prime 4 is probably everybody's most anticipated game for the year. At least for Nintendo fans or whatnot. Definitely for, Metroid fans. But this is most people's most anticipated game. Now for me, it's Kirby Air Riders, which is coming out in November. I'm excited for that game because it looks like it's going to be a Super Smash Brothers game with vehicles. That's freaking awesome. That's badass. I really hope it has Super Smash Brothers levels of success. But, time will tell. There's going to be a second presentation, and I think that's awesome. I think the fact that we're getting a second presentation from Masahiro Sakurai just shows that this is going to be a big game. This is going to be a big deal, all right? Kirby Air Riders is going to be, it's going to be epic. Otherwise, why would there be a second presentation when they already had a 1 hour presentation, right? There's probably going to be even more that we have not seen yet for that game. Now, I'm really hoping that Metroid Prime 4 gets their own dedicated Nintendo Direct. So far, Nintendo's being a little bit quiet when it comes to Metroid Prime 4. And I think that's for obvious reasons. I think it's because they don't want to just, advertise the hell out of it and people think only about Metroid and don't think about Kirby Air Riders. I think Nintendo's kind of, switching things up when it comes to their marketing. And what they really want to do now is they want to market their games properly. And they want to make sure that everybody is hyped for the next game coming within a month or two. And then after that game comes out, then they're going to begin info dropping on the next game, if that makes sense. I think that's what they're going to do. So I think that once Kirby Air Riders comes out and we're enjoying it, we're playing it, it's selling like hotcakes, hopefully. Maybe a week after that, we get our very first Nintendo Direct dedicated to just Metroid Prime 4 only. And let me just say this. This game, Metroid Prime 4, it needs to have multiplayer. I'm going to be very angry and disappointed with Retro Studios if this game does not have online multiplayer. And I already know that Metroid Prime fans are going to defend them, and they're gonna be angry at me saying this, and they're gonna no, they don't need multiplayer. It's a single player game. If you think they need multiplayer, then you're not a Metroid fan and you don't understand Metroid Prime. It's like, look, that is really, really stupid. That is so stupid. Metroid Prime 2 had multiplayer. It wasn't online, unfortunately, but it had multiplayer. And a lot of stupid people will say, well, they shouldn't add multiplayer because Metroid Prime 2's multiplayer was terrible. It was terrible just because they didn't have online. It's not because it's just multiplayer does not work well with Metroid. It's such a stupid argument. They can easily make a really good multiplayer game for Metroid Prime 4. Right here, we see this big epic battle sequence. You got a mech over here. Dude, you got these, these jets, these spacecrafts just being shot down. Like, who the hell would not want a multiplayer? Look at it. Imagine if this right here, what you're seeing right now on the screen, imagine if this was online multiplayer. You gotta, if you get 10 kills in a row or something, you get this big spaceship or whatever to start shooting people. If you get 15 or 20 kills in a row, then you unlock the freaking giant mech or something like that. And wouldn't that be just so freaking badass? Wouldn't that just be awesome? It would be such a wasted opportunity not to have online multiplayer for this damn game. Now, here's what I want for online multiplayer. I just said, of course, I just mentioned the spaceship and the giant mech there, but I am really wanting the multiplayer to just be like, I kind of want it to be like the next Halo and Time Splitters type game. Like Halo and Time Splitters, like when you think of like the best first-person shooters ever, I mean, GoldenEye obviously is up there, but when you think of ones that have online multiplayer, it's usually Halo and Time Splitters. Halo and Time Splitters are probably like the biggest and best examples of just online multiplayer done right. And I really would love it if Metroid was to be like the next big one. I really would love it if Metroid was to take everything that worked with Time Splitters everything that worked with Halo and just jammed it all into this Metroid Prime 4 game. I really hope they do that, man. I really do. And just imagine, like, because think about it. Super Smash Brothers is the best fighting game. It's also like just the best fighting / party video game. It's the best, one of the best online fighting games. I mean, why not have a first person shooter that is basically it's basically similar to Super Smash Brothers, but it's like the first person shooter equivalent to Super Smash Brothers, right? Why not have that? I mean, that Metroid Prime would be the perfect series, because look, we've already seen them experiment with multiplayer. We've seen them experiment with multiple different spin-off games, you know? Pinball, there was Metroid Prime Hunters, there was Metroid Prime Federation Force, which had multiplayer. So, yeah. Did I say Metroid Prime Hunters? I think I did, yeah. So, we've seen them do this, okay? We've seen them experiment. We've seen them do these things. And then in that Metroid Federation Force, by the way, they had like this multiplayer mode where it's like soccer, but you're shooting a ball. Like, you know, they could do something even way cooler and way more epic than that. I mean, imagine if they brought that back in this game, but it's, you know, way more players. It's bigger arenas or whatever. There's turrets, you know, you can set up. I mean, just think about it. Just think about all the cool shit that they could do. There's so much potential for this series. So much potential. There could be like a mode where you're having to get to the other end of a maze or whatever while you're in the morph ball, and you have the other team players shooting at you while your team is shooting at them, and they have their own guy who's in a morph ball trying to get to the other end. Like, there's so many different things they could do. So many cool things they could do. They could do like a survival mode where it's you and 3 other people, 5 other people or something like that, and you're surviving waves of monsters, enemy bosses, and you're trying to escape from a giant spacecraft or a military base that's about to blow up and explode. There's just so much they can do with this franchise. I really, really hope that they're doing the things I want them to do. Now, obviously, these are all things that have been cooked up in my own imagination. I get that, okay, but it's kind of weird how, you know, people like working at the damn studio hadn't thought of this. I mean, we have so many examples of fun multiplayer games out there, first person shooter or not, right? So I just don't understand how they can't think of some like really cool things to incorporate to this video game as far as multiplayer is concerned. I really hope they do that. I really hope. Now, yes, I think that the single player campaign will be great. It will be phenomenal. But why not add multiplayer, online multiplayer? Why not add some type of like player versus environment, player versus environment, things of that nature? We definitely need that right now. And again, it would just be a waste of opportunity. And here's the thing. I believe that a lot of the people who've been hired to work on this game had worked on Halo games. Some have worked on Doom games, I believe, but I think most of them have worked on Halo games. Now, if you're going to hire people who have worked on Halo games, you'd think that you would at least try to get them to incorporate some really fun online multiplayer stuff. And I really hope they do that. But right now, this is just something I want to talk about real quick because, you know, we're getting pretty close to December, and people are complaining a little bit now that we're not seeing enough of Metroid Prime 4, and I agree. But I think a lot of people aren't really talking about whether it's going to have multiplayer, and I'm just wondering, where were you guys for the last 10 freaking years? Y'all should have been asking for that. But it seems like y'all didn't care about that. All y'all care about is single player, and that's so stupid. Why didn't you, if you want this game to be a huge success, you should want it to have an epic multiplayer mode attached with the game. Anyways, I'm really hoping that they have that. I really hope they're going to have like a sick online multiplayer, and it's going to have many modes, and it's going to be the first person shooter equivalent to Super Smash Brothers. Let's just put it like that, you know? It's going to be the closest thing to Time Splitters and Halo. That's what we need for Metroid Prime 4. Now, guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you're a Metroid fan and you see this video, please, well, if you're a Metroid fan and you disagree with me, tell me why. Tell me how I'm wrong, and tell me why you don't think that's a good idea, even though it actually is a good idea. But, you know, tell me how it's impossible to just add multiplayer without, like, sabotaging the single-player campaign. Explain that to me. If you're a Metroid fan and you do want to see online multiplayer, what kind of modes would you like to see, or what kind of things would you like to see them do? Like, you know, what kind of creative ideas do you think they could come up with for a really good multiplayer campaign? Man, that's another thing. They could do like a multiplayer campaign as well. Like, there's so much cool shit they could do with Metroid Prime 4. I'm hoping that they do it. It would just be such a disappointment that this game that's been in the making for the last 8 years, it's been the most anticipated game for the last 10 freaking years or so, maybe 15. It is just not gonna have multiplayer. It's like, what a way to just undersell the damn game, you know? What a way to just not do the game any justice whatsoever by doing that. Anyways, y'all let me know what y'all think below. Hit like, subscribe, even if you disagree with me. Even if you don't like the video, just hit like anyways, and leave as many comments as you can, because that will boost the algorithm and more people will see this video. So with that being said, you guys have a good one. Take care. I will see you all later.